other things. It is December, it's not November. It is now the end of the year. I wouldn't say finally, because it's been a very short year and nothing much has happened, nothing at all. Really, well, I'm sure loads of things have happened, but nothing good. So let's just skip over it and go the other way. So hello, I am a bit early today because various things, but good evening, Philip, yay! Hello, Philip, hello, everybody else who's here, if anybody's here. I'm a bit early. It is early December, and it is early because I wanted to see the Doctor Who spin-off that is on at 8:30, I think it is, and I thought, well, I don't really care about Strictly Come Dancing, but it turns out I'll be done by then, so I can see who's going to be eliminated in Strictly Come Dancing if I wanted to, which I don't really care about, but anyway, so that's fine. So I've got loads of things on, loads of things. Yeah, so work-wise, it's a bit meh. I mean, I did that radio play, that's something, isn't it? So what else have I done this year? Other stuff. I should be working on my Edinburgh show for next year. But I've had second thoughts about it because it was going to be like the lifestyle guru thing. And then I'm like, oh. And then I realised that I've already done, I haven't put it up, I haven't uploaded it here, but I did a sort of like dance guru. A dance. It was more like the Pineapple Dance founder, really. So maybe I can combine that. I don't know. And also Josephine. So if I've got lifestyle, I can have Josephine. I can have the cryptocurrency bro. I can have the sort of posh lifestyle guru. I can have the dance guru, and I can maybe just have loads of. It'll be character comedy. Yay! But I have to develop that. And that's the problem. So yes, it's been a week. It's been a week since I saw you last, and I haven't been anywhere this week. Whereas I was in Edinburgh the week before, and the week before that I was in London and Cardiff. Where have I been this week? Nowhere. I've just stayed in my house. I was a little bit ill yesterday, to be honest. I slept in all the day. I did not feel well. I don't know why. Just did not feel good. And so I didn't really do anything. So that's probably why I look a little bit rough, if anything. Maybe that's how I always look, really. So yes, been a dull but less frantic week for you. Yes, it has been. It has been less frantic. I have stayed in my house. I have watched the Talamasca thing, which is the spin-off to Interview with a Vampire. And we've been going through family photos. Oh, I tell you what has happened. I got, on Ancestry, I got a relative that looked suspiciously close. And I did suspect for a little minute that it was my mother had a half-brother that she didn't know about, because that's how close the DNA was. It came up as this person was either mum's half-niece or first cousin. And it was like, how mysterious. But then I contacted them, and it turned out it is my great uncle, who we did know. He had a child that was 20 years older than my mother, that was born really, really a long time ago. And so yeah. And her son turned up. So I was like, two people so close. How is that? But no. So there's more DNA with that cousin match. She's my mother's second cousin, or first cousin once removed, but the amount of DNA shows her up as being a half niece, which makes me wonder about the whole thing, because her father was divorced from her grandmother, and her grandmother had a child with another person in the early 1920s, which is unusual, I think you will agree, and he had a child with somebody else the year after, and his brother also got divorced, which is unusual for that time of the decade, the century, and also another brother had a possible son that had another illegitimate child that they might have adopted and sent them their son, and then he went to Bodmin and disappeared, and then somebody else got put in an asylum, so he didn't have any children, and it was all a little bit unusual. And then there was my grandfather, who had 9 children, and possibly another one that is sort of reputed to be that there is a rumour that he had another child, and I know details of this child because my father was from an area where everybody was talking about this, but my mother didn't know about it. So that's what I suspected first of all, but there's no relation to that. But this relation is closer. Now, my grandfather was a little bit too young to be the father of her father, in that he was only 15, but it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. But he was 10 years older than my grandmother. And my grandmother, pure as the driven snow, but she had 9 children, and my grandfather disappeared for fast. So I was like, is there any possibility, my mother, that your uncle might actually be your father? And she's like, no possibility, my mother's perfect and pure. Well, there's no way of knowing, is there? There's no way of knowing, but so I asked a genealogist who said that either that's the case or that we're somehow related to the other side of this woman's family. So there's a little bit of patch of DNA that's fed onto it, because this person's come up as a first cousin match to my mother, and a first cousin once removed to me, and really it's my second cousin once removed. It's just like family scandal. It's a sort of family, because they all have, the thing is, absolutely all of these people owned or ran pubs. So there was a lot of alcohol going on. And a generation before, the person that, the whole family, it was like the Welsh mafia, only with pubs, like Dynasty and EastEnders. It's like EastEnders, except in South Wales. South Wales does. So who knows? But there's all sorts of unresolved family scandals. This person that's adopted on one side of the family, we met him and said, did you ever want to know who your real parents were? And he's like, no, I don't want to know. I'm not going to look into it, because I think he knows that there's something more about that. But there was always people being taken on in families, in family history. It's like, oh, who's this person? Oh, they just took this person on. They just took them on as one of their own. It's like, well, why did they do that? So there's a lot going on. So I'm not going to completely discount the possibility that actually somebody's father is not somebody's father. I don't know. Anyway, also, I'm going to get my whole DNA done. The whole of the DNA. All of it. Every single bit of it. But that's not come yet. So who knows what scandals will be found out. That's interesting too, because that's on MyHeritage. And you've got this thing where you go, look back in time. Look back where, because they just tell you where your recent ancestry is from and who your relatives are. But if you go the ancient DNA, then that does show up. For my father as being South America, and my mother being North American, ancient times, years ago. It's like, that's interesting. What's going on there? So that's, and also there was Japan. So somehow my family's got around a lot. There's every single area of the world somehow on one DNA test or another has turned up. So there's an awful lot of intrigue, more than you would think. I think more than you would think. Is anybody talking to me? Everybody's gone quiet. Live chat. If the Bodmin disappeared, well, no, he might be the beast of Bodmin. He might be. You're quite right. Back in time, yes. So that was my great uncle Thomas Mayers. Oh, I've named and shamed him. No, so he wasn't on a family photo that I sent to, because because there was another distant relative that my mother found all the family photos and sent all of them, the hard copies, before we even copied them. She sent all of them to this distant relative, but this person is nearer, so probably could have benefited from the family photos more, but I don't have them anymore. But I did find one, which I think, looking at it, was from 1918. I'm thinking it's 1918 because there was a child, and I identified the child. It said on the back what the child's name was, and I found out when she was born, and she would have been about 1. And this guy was married when he was about 18 to a woman that he had a child with a year later. So I'm timing it. And I said to my mum, I think this is a wedding photo because it matches the timeline. She's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, can you identify all these people? And she couldn't. There's one woman she can't identify who I think might have been the wife. But she's just wearing like a coat. She's not, because there's somebody wearing white that's next to who is, and the groom, I'm saying the groom, this guy is wearing a buttonhole on his shirt, right? But the person next to him wearing white, my mother swears, is actually her auntie, who is his sister. So he's not marrying his sister, I don't think. But the person next to him, my mum not sure about, who looks, she's like, oh, she's an old woman. She's not an old woman. She's just 18. Everyone looked old in those days. But she's wearing just a sort of a coat. But we can't identify her, so she's probably her. But then there's another person. It says Kate, mother. It's like, whose mother? And then I looked that up, and there's actually another brother who also, there was rumours that he wasn't particularly straight, but he married twice. He got married twice. He got married to this person called Kate, who was a witness at this other person's wedding. This is getting complicated, isn't it? So, but she also looks anciently old. Everyone looks old. So she would have only been about 20, and she looks really old, like somebody's mother. So I'm like, odd. Anyway, I don't know who's related to who, and I don't know what's going on, but I do know that everybody was a little bit drunk because they all owned pubs, so who knows even. And they were all in a big, weird relationship with each other. It's very strange indeed. I don't know what's going on. It's all a little bit much. So, yes, so that's what's been happening this year. I've been trying to work out how these people are related to these other people, and I did. Yeah, I'm sure it's all innocent, and it's just a coincidence that this person looks like they're more related than they are. A coincidence. That's all it is. Definitely a coincidence. It must be. So that's mainly what I've been doing this week. Just working out family trees, digging them up, cutting off the rotten branches, all a little bit odd. And yes, and I've been just going through old family photos, really older than it's like, who's this person? Who's this person? Who's this person? So I've been looking at little children and young people's faces from the 1800s and early 1900s and going, who are these people? They're related to me. How are they related to me? So that's been interesting. Because I had forgotten about the family history, but every now and then there's still a little bit of weirdness that pops up. So that's interesting, I think. Interesting. And yeah, so you never know what's going to happen with that. So yeah, interesting to me, probably not interesting to others. Although, if I was famous, they would make a Who Do You Think You Are about me, or DNA Journeys or something. But they don't need to do that because they've done that already. But if I was famous, then it would be amazingly good. So the coincidence is coalescing. Yes, the correlation. Exactly. You're right. All the C's words. Anyway, the Mayers families, we don't know where they come from either, because the person who, the first Mayers came to this area in about 1810 something, I don't know. He was born in 1896, I think. No, 1796. How did he travel back in time? No, he was born in 1796 in Longton, near Stoke-on-Trent, Longton. And the only person that there's nobody of that name in the birth records there, but I mean they were more patchy there, but there was similar named people, so I'm assuming that so I can't really trace it back any further unless I assume that the slightly different name, there was Mayer and then Meyer and there's Meh, and how do you spell it? I don't know. Is that MEIERS rather than MAYERS? Anyway, can't get them back any further than that, so there's no way of knowing where they come from. Is everybody called Mayers, Mayers, related to me? Who can tell? Because it actually, when you go back, it's Mayer without an S. And there was a big rumour that they came from Hamburg and travelled over. But I think that was my uncle, who's a bit of a wind-up merchant, just making things up, because there's no evidence of that at all. Although, on my dad's side, they did show up on the recent updates that there was people with German ancestry that had moved to Ukraine in the 1700s. It was like, eh? So, who knows? And probably left again. And I don't know how accurate that is, but that's interesting because that's a little bit specific. That's really very specific. And it's like, wait! Anyway, whatever that is, but that's not my mum's side. So who can tell? Where does anybody come from? In the end, we do not know. You can say where you are and where you go, but you do not know who you are or who you were, who your ancestors were either. I dare you to find out, because there's very few people that are from where they started. What? Everybody's from somewhere else. Everybody. I mean, more so somewhere like America. Everybody's from somewhere else in America, unless they're the Native Americans, in which case they're also from somewhere else, because the people that came there and pushed them further inland. So they're from that land. They're from Turtle Island, but most of them got it's controversial, but they did get pushed. Let's see, the Western expansionism and all that happened, and not great. So the people that actually were originally from there are all pushed around and are not allowed back where they, and it's like, no, and there's all borders and stuff where there shouldn't be borders, because it's their land and they should be back where they want to be. Politics. Anyway, but yeah, so there's more people in America. Not everybody in America wasn't from America originally, and it's over the last 400 years, and there's various reasons why they got there. Let's be honest, there's some very not great reasons why some people are there, and they should probably have more out of things. But oh, this is another thing, right? Do you remember a while ago that there was a Christmas song that my grandmother always used to sing, which was Sally go round the sun, Sally go round the moon, Sally go round the chimney pot on a Sunday afternoon, oi! And we'd have to sing that going around the Christmas tree, and I'm like, where does this come from? And I looked it up, and it said, oh, from St. Helena, and I was like, what? Which is in the middle, I thought, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I found out last week that it was also a St. Helena Island that is right off the coast of America. And that's where there was quite a lot of stuff going on there. And that was the first place. The British liberated all the slaves there and gave them land and mules and stuff. So that's where the rumour of 40 acres and a mule came from. And everybody then that was freed after all that business was under the impression that they would get that too. But it was only the people on the island. And now I'm thinking, is it that island rather than the other island? Is there relation? Is there some sort of connection there? And I don't know for sure. But going by the little dispersing bits of DNA, it is a possibility. So let's just put it that way. Who knows? Because some of them went to Britain, is what I'm saying. Some of them went, aha, and then they fought for the British. Sorry, Americans. They fought for the British, and then they came to Britain, and some of them went other places. So that could be the case. I do not know. I'm not laying claim to that ancestry, but that is a thing that I found out. So let's just say that. Who's that? Seems that nobody's talking to me. Anyway, so family history is only interesting to me. It's not interesting to anyone else. Nobody cares. But I care. Anyway, so it's coming up to Christmas. I made a little video about my tree. Did you see that? A little short about the tree that I got out of the attic. So we've got two trees. One of them's bigger than the other, but it is pretty messy, and there was droppings in that general area, so I don't really want to touch that big tree. But the other one was well sealed. But it's an algae tree, £15, an Aldi Alpine Fir tree. Yes, you saw that shot. And everyone's like, Aldi does, not Aldi, it was Wilko. Wilko still exists, they go. So it went bust, but somebody bought them up and then they're selling things online under the Wilko brand. But I did not know this because the physical shops all closed down several years ago, 2023 I think it was. So it was well before there. It's probably like 15 years ago that we've had this tree. I can't remember putting it up. Certainly for the last 4 or 5 years, we've had the bigger tree. So the bigger tree. Oh, the bigger tree. And we've had the larger tree. And so we just had the smaller tree because it's like too much and there's not really room for it. The way that the configuration of the room is. We put it up. It's a nice little tree. And we put it on put it behind the door next to the television on a stand because it's not very tall. But my mother was decorating it and she was behind the door because I did think, is that a good place? Because every time the door knocks, but I was like knocking the door to see whether it would fall over. It seemed to be all right. But then I went out of the room and my mother was decorating the tree and she was stood right behind the door. So I opened the door and she went, wait, she started to topple forward, so I had to grab her. And I was like, are you all right? So I had to like grab her from the front and sort of pull her back. And I'm like, so I saved my mother. Who'd have known what? If she'd have actually, I mean, I saved her, but actually it was my fault because I opened the door. So I mean, it was only right that I saved her because it was my fault that she nearly fell over. So consequences, really. But I saved my mother's life. My mother, I was like, oh, that was a bit. That was weird. Have I got a swollen jaw? Yes, probably. Yeah, I have. That's weird. Has it gone out of alignment? Maybe. And my mum found a load of pictures of me. She's been looking through these pictures and she's like, look at this picture of you. It's a nice picture. You look older in this picture. This picture is from like I was 20 or something. She's like, you look older in this picture. I'm like, I don't think I do look older in that picture because I'm 20 years old in that picture. And I'm not 20 years old now. I definitely don't look younger than then, I don't think. That would be weird. Am I in a sort of weird time? I do not think that I am. And people are very delusional about it. People online. I don't think I look the age that I look. I'm not. I look very young for my age, people go. And I don't think that. I don't. Well, actually I do, because I don't look 60,000 million years old. That's how old I am. I'm an ancient vampire from the Talamasca. Yeah, I'm not. That would be weird. If that was true, and that was all really, really true, which is not because it's fictional. Or is it? It is. Because I bought those contact lenses, those coloured contact lenses, to try and do vampire the stat sort of thing. But my eyes are so dark that I put them on, and I read somebody was going, oh, they don't make contact lenses to make light eyes dark. They only make contact lenses to make dark eyes light. And it's like, well, please direct me to them, because I haven't found any that can make dark eyes light at all. And not for the prices that I'm prepared to pay. Anyway, so yeah. Next week, what's next week? So I don't know, is anybody going to watch the Doctor Who spin-off that's all about the sea and sea creatures? Getting off with the guy that was in Being Human, who was also in an episode of Doctor Who where he was midshipman seaman or something. Alfonso, no, was it Alphonse or something. He was something. He was in the Titanic one, the spaceship Titanic one. Yeah. So yeah, maybe not tonight. Maybe I'm gonna watch it tonight because I'll have finished early. Yay! It's a bigotry. going back. I'm seeing. I've just had the things pop up. They disappear and they come back. The chat. So I'm just looking at that. Yeah. So I'm gonna watch that. Possibly. But it's gonna be a bit weird because he is somebody that's already been in it as a different character. I'm assuming he's not playing the same character. He's not Alfonso. Was it Alonso? Alonso. That's right. Alonso. But he is not that character. He is going to get off with a fish creature. I'm just surmising this from the general tenor of the trailer. I say fish creature. They are not Silurians. They are sea devils. With the other ones, I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, they are those creatures that are vaguely related to the Silurians. So they've got masks on. So the traditional Doctor Who villains, no, they were not villains. They were misunderstood creatures because they were here before us. Just like in America. But not in America. So they were in the sea, and then the people came along and annoyed them. And then they've come back, and they had masks on in the original. It turns out they've retconned them. They've retconned them, so now they're wearing masks. So now you take them off, and you've got handsome and beautiful creatures of the sea. And then Alonso, who's not playing that. He's not playing that. He's somebody else. Whatever character he's playing, he's in it. I mean, other characters have come back as different, other actors have come back as different characters. That happens a lot. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, really. Now, ideally, the actual finale, that Doctor Who, the Doctor will come into it, and they'll have an actual Christmas special that they haven't. They're not going to have a Christmas special. Apparently, they are going to have a Christmas special, like the year after next or something, really far in the future. Too far, and it's uncertain whether they're going to have any Doctor Who's. Now, to be honest, the Doctor Who's that they have at Christmas have been largely disappointing, largely disappointing, but I still want to see them because there's very little else to do at Christmas. It does feel like Christmas now. I've got the tree up, but it is not Christmas. Now here it is. This is not Christmas. Everybody's not having fun. It's all rainy and miserable, and everybody is not in the sun, and everybody is on the run, and everybody could do with a bit of a rest now because it's horrible. Christmas it doesn't feel like Christmas without a Doctor Who special. You're right. So that's why I'm hoping that it's all a bait and switch. Bait, like the fish, a bait and switch, and that we've actually got a real Doctor Who episode come in at the end of it, and everybody will go, aha! But that's not going to happen. Other things I've been watching, Downton Abbey, which is very interesting because all of a sudden I've been watching other things and people from Downton Abbey have been turning up in it, like the Talamasca. Cora from Downton Abbey is in that, and also watched an episode of Hornblower, and the person who is the father-in-law of Ivy, the cook person who's like she ends up, I think she's a cook in the end, but she's like the maid of all work in the beginning. He was in it, and also other things. Anyway, every time we put something on, it's like, that person was in Downton Abbey. Oh look, Hugh Bonneville, my dad put on a Christmas concert that he was doing with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir about some hymn that somebody had made and how tragic it was. They lost some people at sea, and then la-di-da, and then they made a hymn. It was like, what? It was all a bit bizarre. I mean, and I looked him up, and he's apparently an agnostic. He's not a Mormon. Why is he narrating a Mormon Tabernacle Choir about Christmas hymns? It was all a bit strange. Anyway, to each his own. I mean, I'm not saying Mormons are odd. I'm just saying it's a bit odd that Hugh Bonneville was in it. I mean, I'm sure. I'm not. Have I met Mormons? Yes. A Mormon picked me up in a museum once. He said that my dress was great. Would I come to his house? And later on, he slipped me a note, and I was like, all right then. I didn't know he was a Mormon, but I went to his house, and he played guitar at me for ages and talked to me about some bloke that he knew called Fat Norman or something. And it was a bit odd, and I was like stuck in his house. And then he said, I'm a Mormon, and then he didn't try to convert me, but there was a very definite, it was like, this is odd. I don't know why I've come to this person's house. This was foolish. I don't know why he's playing guitar at me. And he's trying to, anyway. So that's the only Mormon that I know. And I'm sure there's more Norman Mormons. I'm sure they're all much more normal Mormons than that. But family history-wise, they've been doing a very good job of tracing everybody that's ever existed in the world, so that I don't have to. It's quite easy to find people because of the Mormons. So thank you, Mormons, and thank you, Normans, and thank you, Normans, and thank you, Ethel Merman. Thank you, all of you, for helping me with my family history. It's been very nice. And also, it turns out that one branch of my family, all of the brothers and sisters that weren't the people that were my family, went to America. So there's absolutely hundreds of people on my Harris side of my family, because everybody except my ancestor of my grandfather, everybody but them, went to be the original Mormons that went across. There's only like 100 of them, and most of them turned out to be my family 100 times over, because they all seem to have married each other, and maybe that's what happened with the Mayeses as well, and that would explain that. They weren't publicans, they were Mormons. I don't think they were. I think that's just me being silly. Anyway, I know that I've badmouthed the poor Mormons that have done nothing to me. I don't. And there's a very good musical about them, and I know that's not an official musical, and also some people say it's racist, so that's probably true. Anyway, there is a musical. Yes, Book of Mormon. Yes. Anyway, I'll leave it there, shall I? I'll leave it there on that bombshell, on that controversial bombshell. Anyway, I will see you soon. Good to see you. I'm losing it. Bye. Have a good week. See ya.